Hi guys, welcome to the Build It Live Virtual Trade Show 2020. I'm Andy Moss and I'm from Moss Technical and I'm the UK distributor for Niko Home Control products. Now, I'm going to talk to you about how to create an easy, flexible and future-proof living environment for your home using smart home technology. Now, you can ask any questions at any time by clicking on the Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom window, and I'll answer as many as I can at the end of the session. Alternatively, you can visit our stand by clicking on the exhibitor link and searching for Niko Home Control. So we've all experienced many technical changes throughout the years, from the humble drill to the modern drill, the modern cordless drill. Things have moved on based on these technology improvements, and that also goes for the automotive industry as well. What we expected from a car, 10, 20 years ago, the technology that was included then, it's far surpassed these days. We wouldn't expect to buy a car these days without certain things as standard, like parking sensors, power steering, and sat nav. These are all things that we expect these days, and that's because of technology improvements, and that's driven the market demand. So the automotive industry has had to keep up. Things like mobile phones these days, well, we've all got smartphones. Traditionally, you would pick your phone up to make a phone call and you would grab your camera to take a picture, but now we've got this great user interface that will do it all for us, especially with apps. And if we take a look at the Pope's inauguration between 2005 and 2013, well, the iPhone was invented in 2007, so of course there became a huge shift in how we used our devices. We see this at events all over the world these days. Just this sea of mobile phones. And of course, this is an all too recognizable picture that we see. Now, this has led to many businesses being affected. How we listen to music these days, we no longer buy CDs or vinyl, even though vinyl is making a comeback. We generally stream our music these days. Transportation has changed hugely. We expect our car to automatically, or a sat nav to automatically divert us round obstacles, problems, things like that, to get us safely, quickly and efficiently to our destination without the need to come across a traffic jam and then have to get out our good old AA roadmap. And gaming has changed massively over the years. Some of those that, like myself, who's a little bit older, we've seen a huge change in how we game. It's now very real, like you're actually in the game. And the industry and society have set these new expectations around us, aging, how we grow older. We want to live this independent life in our own home for longer. And a smart home can allow that. If you take a look at care home costs, you're talking on average £600 to £1,000 a week. It's a huge impact on your savings and your family's inheritance. Ultimately, you've worked hard all your life. And so why not live that independent life in your own home for a little bit longer? Well, like I say, a smart home can allow that. The Internet of Things is getting more and more prevalent these days. The Hoover that automatically comes out and hoovers the floors while you're out of the house and in work, or your lawn is automatically mowed. We're living in this connected world. Energy. There's a huge shift on how to save energy and also reduce bills. We're hearing it all the time about the environment and what we're doing to it. So this is all, we can all do our little bit. And like I say, a smart home can allow for that. The all off function, so lights don't get left on when you're out of the house. It saves energy. It reduces the impact on the environment. And of course, people are willing to invest in things that matter to them most. We want control. If I told you 20 years ago that a mobile phone was going to cost you, £1,000, well, you wouldn't have even considered it. But now you know what it can offer you. The benefits outweigh that cost, so we do buy them. Being able to live safely in our own home for longer, we want a safe environment, and we want comfort. And comfort isn't just about sofas, carpets, and nice kitchens and things like that. It's about having the home intelligent these days. The fact that when you press the light as you go into a bathroom in the evening, the light comes on at 100%. and the fan comes on 3 minutes later. But if you press the same button at say 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, if you need the toilet in the night, the light can automatically come on at 5% because it knows it's that time. We expect these things these days. We certainly expect them from a car to think for itself, so we need to expect it from the home as well. So we're living in this connected world, and the trends that we're seeing happening all around us is everything is connected. We only have to book a flight online, and our mobile phone will tell us at what time we need to leave for the airport because it's already checked the traffic, it's checked the flights on time, and it knows whether there's any delays en route. And we expect that these days. So why don't we expect it from the home, from the electrical installation? So these trends have impacted the housing expectations, what we expect from the home these days. A light switch will only ever operate a light, but if you wire it in a smart home fashion, then it can do so much more. So how do we do that? Well, the answer is to produce a modular and expandable infrastructure. If you get the infrastructure right at the start, then anything is possible. The problem comes when you've not thought about it and you've just wired it traditionally, wired the installation traditionally, and then of course at the end you want to do something different and you can't without getting a hammer and chisel out or pull in new cables. Well, with a smart home you can, because the cables are there and it's just simple reprogramming. So we start with the essential installation. Now the essential installation far surpasses what's possible from an electrical installation anyway. Then we can add additional comfort, so for comfortable living, safe living, ecological living, and independent living. And I'm just going to go into a little bit of detail about what's possible with each level of these building blocks. These are ways we can grow our installation as time goes by. So the essential installation, it still gives you an intelligent and flexible installation that far surpasses the normal electrical installation. Lighting control, well, light switches traditionally only ever operate the circuit that they're connected to. They will never do anything else. With Niko Home Control and smart home technology, we can create different light levels based on times of day. We can control from anywhere in the world. We can control from our smartphone or our tablet while we're on holiday to control our lights or our heating. So if we're flying back or the flight is delayed, we can just put our heating on from from the airport, and so by the time we get home it's nice and warm. Voice control, this is all standard. Being able to talk to your installation to say, Alexa, turn my kitchen lights on, or hey Google, I'm home, and the act of saying that automatically turns our heating back up a little bit. It can play our favorite radio station, and it can create a nice welcome scene based on time of day, so a nice softer mood in the evening than if you come in the daytime. Calendar functions, well, so for instance, outside lights, you might want the outside lights to come on as it goes dark, but then to go off at 10 o'clock at night, for instance. Having things happen automatically at certain times or events is very, very straightforward. Closing your sun blinds at sunset, or closing your curtains, for instance, and then opening them again at sunrise. But as we'll talk, when it comes to the security aspect, we can put delays in so they don't all close at the same time. They can close within a delay of each other. And functionality that far surpasses the standard installation. Also, there is a huge saving on switch wire cabling. Traditionally, wiring, like I say, hasn't changed for about 30 or 40 years. We still have a lot of switch wires that we have to pull and configure, and that takes time. Whereas with certainly Niko Home Control and smart home technology, it's just a simple bus-based system, and there's about an 80 to 90% saving on switch wire cabling, for instance. So that makes it much more of an offsetting cost against your electrical installation. Now, the most important thing for me really is flexibility. The fact that we don't know how we want to control our home at the point at which we're building it. It's only once we've lived in there for a period of time that we might think, well, actually, I want the room to be controlled differently. Well, that is all possible by simple reprogramming of the installation, because the infrastructure hasn't changed. That could also be growing older, or if your family needs change, or if you decide to change an office to a children's bedroom. you might want to change the functionality or how that room operates. Well, that is all possible with a smart home, where it isn't possible with the traditional method of wiring. And then comfortable living. Well, we might want to add a little bit more dimming. So instead of just switching, we can create different dim levels, which create different moods. In the evening, the lights can automatically dim down slightly to create that more cozy environment. Light levels based on the time of day. So again, the mood as you come in daytime could be nice and bright, 100% lighting. But if you come in late at night after a night out, your welcome home button will bring the lights on at, say, 20% instead. So it's not fully illuminating the home. That will also save you energy, for instance. Having the bathroom light come on at 100% in the evening when you go into the bathroom. But if you press the same button when you go in at 3 o'clock in the morning, then if you need the toilet in the middle of the night, then the lights can come on at 5%. So just giving it an intelligent light level based on the time of day, for instance. And then automatic shading. Well, having curtains close at sunset and open at sunrise. And also, if you're in a conservatory and we can take a reading from the thermostat. So if the temperature gets a little bit too high in there, we can automatically close the sun blinds to stop that solar gain or help to reduce the solar gain. And integrating other systems like music control. So we've got control of our music as part of scenes. When we come in and we press a welcome home button, that can not only create a light level based on time of day, but it can also play your favorite playlist or radio station very easily. Now, we all want to be safe in our home, and there are many things that are automatically possible with a smart home installation, without having to buy additional components, just by simple programming. We may want to add video entry. Now, not only will the video entry come through to our touch screen in the house, so we know who's at the front door, but it will also come through to our smartphones anywhere in the world, so that we can answer the door and let somebody through the gate to drop a parcel by the door, even if we're on holiday. And outside motion detectors, well, they no longer just need to operate the outside lights, which is what the traditional method was. The motion on you after dark outside, and your outside light comes on. Well, why not activate a sequence of internal lights as well? So if you're not in, it looks like you're now moving around the house. Presence simulation, making lights turn on automatically in the evening, even if you're not in. So normally you've got control of those lights and you set whatever mood you want if you're in the house. But once you've gone out of the house, we can have the lights continue to operate, for instance, in an efficient manner, though, but to give the impression you are in. That's the biggest deterrent of all. And ecological living. There's a huge shift in our awareness of the environment these days, and not only the environment and what we want to do to help sort of reduce our impact on the world, but also to reduce our bills, our electricity and our energy bills. So being able to turn lights automatically after a set period of time, we've all left lights on, and the only way that light is ever going to turn off is when you go back to the light switch normally and flick the switch back to the off state. If you've rushed out of the house to go on a 3-week holiday and you come back and you've left a number of lights on, that's been wasting energy. So we can automatically turn these things off when we press our all off button when we go out of the house. So a simple button will put the house in its most economical state. And activating the alarm turns down the heating and ventilation as well. So either activating the alarm system to arm it when you go out, or it could be quite simply pressing an all off button. Well, turning the heating down a degree or two, it's going to make savings. And if you add those savings up over a period of 12 months, then that's going to have a big impact. And the same for ventilation. Turning your ventilation down is you don't need the central ventilation system working at full speed or whatever speed it should be set to normally when you're in the house. It can just turn down a little bit when you're not out. So we can influence that. Having bathroom lights turn on, but the fan turn on after 3 minutes later, because we rarely need the fan to kick in the bathroom straight away when we walk in. And perhaps if we're in there for, say, more than 3 or 4 minutes, then we can kick the ventilation in, so that if you're in and out quickly, the fan hasn't come on at all. Because what's that going to do? Well, it's going to suck the nice warm air out to outside and waste it, as well as obviously the electric to operate the fan in the first place. So an all-off function is easily possible, that turns all our lights off when we go out, so that we know the house is in a most economical state, simply. And then independent living. Some of us will be building homes that are our forever home. Now, we know that as we grow older, certain things are going to might become an issue, like mobility, for instance. So we want to live an independent life in your own home for longer. I mentioned earlier that care home costs are on average £600 to £1,000 a week, and that has a huge impact on your savings. Sometimes needing to sell your private home, which you'd hope to have left to your children, in order to pay for your care. So if you can, if your electrical installation or your smart home installation can allow you to live a little bit longer in your home, another few years, for instance, before you need that level of care. Hopefully we never need to, but it is something we need to consider. Well, it can save, tens or even hundreds of thousands of pounds. Wall controls, for instance, can be could be reprogrammed so that one of the buttons becomes an "I need help" function. If you press and hold that for, say, 2 seconds, so it's not accidentally operated, then that can automatically send a notification to a family or a friend, family member or a friend, to say you need help. They can then act on that. At the same time, that function can also flash the outside lights to draw attention. It can open your gate. It can unlock your front door. These are all things that are possible. So, obviously emergency crews or helpers can get straight in to help you without coming across a locked gate. Family members can also be notified in the event of no activity. If your normal routine is to get up by a certain time, and so you're up and about by, say, 9 o'clock, if there's no activity in the house by 10 o'clock, then a notification can be sent to say you might want to check on mum or dad. And of course, voice or smartphone or tablet control is all standard, and that's standard anyway in even the essential sort of package. Being able to control your home without the need to move could become very important when it comes to living that independent life at home for longer if mobility becomes an issue. So the question really is, how are you going to wire your project? Are you going to wire it the old way or the new way? Well, the light switch will only ever operate the light. The thermostat will only ever operate the thermostat. But of course, there is this new way. So thanks very much for listening. I'm going to answer any questions I can now. So if you want to message them over to me, and I'll look forward to speaking to you again soon. Thank you.